and pound. So US currency is dollar, UK currency is pound, right? So first tell me, if inflation in US rises, for US, it is more cheaper to buy UK products. So US become buyer of UK goods, right? Understand?
Right.
So when they buy UK goods, they have to pay in UK goods as well. So buyer creates demand for UK product, right? So UK product mean, if we're talking about in pound, so their demand for pound also increases. The currency in which they are paying back to UK. And the supply side, if just concentrate, we have just talked about the demand for pound and now the supply of pound. What happened here? So UK, if you buy from UK, UK becomes seller. What is the behavior of buyer from UK? Let me change the color of pencil. So the buyers who are purchasing from US, would they buy more because they are not, they don't want to pay high amount, they want to pay less. UK products are now expensive due to inflation. They will buy more or they will buy less. UK will buy less from
Less.
right? When they buy less, they will convert their pound into dollar, less or more?
Less.
Less. So who owns this pound? UK, right? So UK supply is decreased. So who manufactured the pound? UK. And now they are converting less pound into dollars because they are not dealing with UK because they are not dealing with US because US products are more expensive and we are not dealing our pound into US anymore. So supply of the pound decreases. Understand? So now let's convert this into so this is the market for pound. So demand increased. Oh, this is supply. So demand increased. Supply decreased. What happened? We have new equilibrium and our price has increased. So it means the price of pound will be increased. Or if you don't understand, let me just review the product market. For example, this is Apple. This is demand for Apple, this is supply for Apple. Now what happened? Demand of Apple increased while supply of Apple decreased. Decrease means shift to the left. So previously, Apple was trading $3 per kg, and now it is $6 per kg. So value of Apple increased, right? Or appreciated. You can say that. Understand? So now put pound instead of apple. So pound prices in dollars rises. So we have an example here. I think it will further clarify your concept. So I'm just giving you 5 minutes to read it slowly, and then I will repeat it and explain every line here. So just, not going to pause the video, just focus on and read this example. Okay, now let's talk about the impact of rising US interest rates on equilibrium value of the British pound. So we talk about that. Okay, let's talk about in so we have US and we have UK. If in US interest rate rises while in UK the interest rate is constant, like 5%, what happened? The US investors, they will not deposit their dollar into pound and into UK banks. They will keep their dollars with themselves. So it means demand for foreign currency will decrease. What happened to the supply curve? The supply side is that UK owns pound. So in order to exploit this opportunity of increased interest rate, the UK will deposit its pound and convert into dollar and save it with the US banks. It means UK will be increasing its supply. So when supply is greater than demand, it means we're talking about surplus or excess supply. In case of excess supply, the exchange rate or the price will decrease. So let's talk about this here. So let me just read it down. Assume that the US and British interest rates are initially equal, but then US interest rate rise while the British interest rate remains constant. In this case, US investors will likely reduce their demand for pounds since the US rates are now more attractive relative to the British rates. So there is less desire for British bank deposit. It means pound demand will be lower. So because the US rates will now look more attractive to British investors with excess cash, the supply of pound for the sale by British investors should increase as they establish more bank deposit in US states, which means supply of pound will increase. So due to this inward shift in the demand for pounds and outward shift in the supply of the pound for sale, the equilibrium exchange rate should decrease. So these inwards and outward means, let's talk about on our next slide that the book says that inward decrease, outward increase. So you can just replace that concept with increase and decrease. So just focus on that, whether this is case of supply and demand. Increase mean shift to the right. So if supply increase, it means supply shift to the right. And decrease mean shift to the left, whether demand or supply, both cases. Demand decrease, shift to the left. And you see that we have a new equilibrium, and this was the old equilibrium. You see, whether the quantity is same or not, would see the price. Price has decreased from $1.55 to 1.50. So in case of inflation, the foreign currency exchange rate rises In case of interest rate, the foreign currency decreases. Let's take a 10 minutes break, and then we talk about what happened to the exchange rate when there is a relative income or government controls. Okay, guys, welcome back after a short break. So now the third part is relative income levels, factors affecting the exchange rate. So the relative income level states that increase in US income leads to increase in US demand for foreign goods and increase demand for foreign currency relative to the dollar and increase in exchange rate of the foreign currency. So let's explain this. Here we go. So we have US here and we have UK. And the reason is, sorry, income levels. So what happened in US, income rises. All the inflation are same, interest rate is same, right? Just what happened, the income level in US rises. Now it is more cheaper for US to buy UK goods, right? It means US will be buying more goods from UK. What happened to the foreign currency? When US buying more goods from UK, it means demand for pound increases. So same like the inflation. In inflation, inflation means the rise in price level and rise in the money supply. Income means the people real income rises. They are becoming more wealthier or something. So they purchase goods, demand of goods in UK rises. So we have to pay back in pounds. So we will be selling our dollars and purchasing the pounds. So the demand is increased. Since no inflation has changed, no interest rate has changed, supply will be unchanged. In that case, because demand is still greater than supply, the exchange rate of foreign currency go up. So we have an example here. So let's read that. Assume that the US income level rises substantially with the British income level remains unchanged. Consider the impact of this scenario on the demand schedule for pound, the supply schedule of pound, and the equilibrium exchange rate. Number first, the demand for the pound will shift outward to the right side, reflecting the increase in the US income and therefore increased demand for the British goods. So when US will be demanding more British goods, it means there's going to be more demand of pound as well. Second, the supply schedule for the pound for sale is not expected to change. Why is that? Because inflation in both countries are same, interest rates in both countries are same. So supply going to be unaffected. So what happened here? So this was the old market